Hello students and welcome to Misostudy. So we are discussing about the questions which are related to the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. We have discussed the whole chapter. We have discussed all the aspect by which these microbes they are used in our day-to-day as well as in industries. Similarly, we have already discussed that these microbes they are also important as your fertilizers are considered, as your plant yield are considered. Not only for the biofertilizers, they can be also used as a bioinsecticide, as a biopesticides. We have discussed all those. I have compiled some 10 questions which is related to the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare, and we will be discussing those 10 questions, and I will be telling you in brief what are the answers for that, so that you can easily prepare yourself for the NEET exam. I am not saying all the questions which I am going to present over here will be asked in the NEET exam. I am not saying that. I am just saying that these are important and such type of questions they are asked, because I have chosen those questions from the previous years which are important, and the frequencies of those questions to be asked in the NEET exam, they are more. So let us discuss the session, and let us start the session with the first question. First question states that which one of the following is not a biofertilizer. Now what do you mean by the biofertilizers? Biofertilizers are those fertilizers which increases the productivity of a plant. Biofertilizers, we have discussed so many types of the biofertilizers. Some are in the form of the free living, some are in the form of free living, some are in the form of the cyanobacteria, some are in the form of you can say those which are associated with the roots of leguminous plant. But here they are asking about those which are not biofertilizers. Let's start with the first one, and the first one indicate rhizobium. Rhizobium is a biofertilizer, because what this biofertilizer do? Biofertilizer enrich, or more precisely I can say that increase the uptake of nitrogen by plant. Increase the uptake of nitrogen by plant. Rhizobium is one of that which remain in association with the roots of leguminous plant. So that means they help in absorption of the nitrogen. So rhizobium will not be the right answer. Next is the nostoc. Nostoc is also that which help in absorption of the nitrogen. Similarly, that will not be an answer. Next is a mycorrhiza, that means a fungi that remain associated with the plants and that help in the more and more absorption of nutrient from the soil. So this cannot be this cannot be the right answer. Even this cannot be the right answer, because all of these they are what? Biofertilizers. We are left with the fourth option, which indicates agrobacterium. So the correct option is agrobacterium. Now, what is agrobacterium? Though it is not asked in the question, but still I would like to discuss about agrobacterium. Agrobacterium is that bacterium which has a capability to infect plant. When they infect plant, what they do? They incorporate their DNA into the plant DNA, and basically they causes crown gall disease. Crown gall disease. When they cause such disease, crown gall disease, what exactly they do? They incorporate their DNA, the bacterial DNA, into the host plant. Incorporate bacterial DNA into host plant. Into host plant, and what they cause? Crown gall disease. Now what is the reason behind their use? The reason behind is that they have a TI plasmid. have Ti plasmid. Now, what is Ti plasmid? Ti plasmid is that plasmid which, what this Ti plasmid do? This is a extra chromosomal plasmid, extra chromosomal DNA, and these can easily transfer from one organism to another. So, this is the basis by which the genetic engineering is done in case of the plant. So, this is the process by which the genetic engineering is done. When we look at the nature of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, we see that this is of gram negative. Right. So, the correct option for question number 1 is option D, right. Let us discuss the next question, question number 2. This is also related to these blue-green alga. This is related to the nitrogen fixation. Some blue-green alga are used as a biofertilizers as anything which act as a biofertilizer, that means what they do, they are causing some sort of benefit to the plant, that's why it is written over here biofertilizers. Now let us look at the option. Let us start from the last one. They are deficient in nutrient. When they are deficient in nutrient, how they can act as a biofertilizer? So this cannot be the right answer. Can grow everywhere. Is this a right answer for explaining biofertilizer? No, not at all. Next are mucilaginous. This is also not at all the right answer. The first indicate a fixed nitrogen. We are discussing about the cyanobacteria, the blue-green alga, the cyanobacteria, for example, not only this cyanobacteria, certain you can say some other bacteria also, they help in fixing the nitrogen. When they fix the nitrogen, what they do? They convert this nitrogen into the usable form so that plants can absorb more and more of these nitrogen. So, the correct option for the question number 2 is fixed nitrogen. Let us talk about the next question. This question is based on milk. Milk is converted into curd by. This is a normal process in every house. We go for this we make this curd from the milk. Now, what are the different bacteria which is responsible for making the curd? They have given certain examples: Xanthomonas citri, Bacillus megatherium, Acetobacter aceti. Out of all of these, none of these help in the formation of curd. So, the first one is also wrong, second one is also wrong, the third one is also wrong. That means the D is correct. Now, as the D is correct, then what will be the right answer? The answer is Lactobacillus milk converted into curd by Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Not only these, this is also, this milk is converted into curd by another microorganism which is Streptococcus thermophilus. Now, how this curdling of milk occur? How this curd formation occur? This is because whenever a milk is heated at a temperature of around 40 degrees Celsius, these two microorganisms help in conversion of milk into curd. Now, what exactly happens in these two cases? In case of the lactobacillus, the lactose of milk is converted into lactic acid. converted into lactic acid. Right? This is the first. Even in Streptococcus thermophilus, the same thing happened, but in this case, this is associated with one protein which is called as a casein. In this case, coagulation of caseins occur. Coagulation of protein, and the name of that protein is casein. So this you have to remember. This is a formation of milk converted into curd by Lactobacillus bulgaricus in Streptococcus thermophilus. We have to heat the milk at 40 degrees Celsius around, and in what this Lactobacillus bulgaricus does, they convert the lactose into lactic acid. The Streptococcus thermophilus, they help in coagulation of the protein, that is milk protein, which is called as a casein. The same thing happened when we talk about the cheese. In the cheese also, the coagulation of this casein occur. So the correct option for the question number 3 is the D option. Let's look at the next question. Brandy is generally produced from. Now, how this brandy is produced? Normally, brandy is produced by fermentation of grape wine. Brandy produced by fermentation of wine. And how this wine is produced? Wine is produced from grapes. Wine is produced from grapes. So the correct option for the fourth one is a grape wine. Rest all are wrong. Let's talk about the next question. An organism which is used as biofertilizer for raising soya bean. Now, biofertilizer means it is that form which enrich the soil with nitrogen, or they help in more and more uptake of nitrogen. Uptake of nitrogen by plants from soil. By plants from soil. We are discussing about the soya bean. In the soya bean, now tell me one thing, in which category it comes. It belongs to leguminous plant. Leguminous plant. So we are talking about a symbiotic relationship between the roots of the leguminous plant to the one bacteria, and the name of that is a rhizobium. Rhizobium, they remain, this is a fungi which remain in association with the roots, and when they associate with the root, more and more nitrogen is absorbed from the soil. So the correct option is a rhizobium. Rhizobium has one specific gene, and the name of that gene is they help in uptake of nitrogen. The name of that gene is the NIF, because of which what happens, they help in more and more absorption of nitrogen. So the correct option is the B, that is rhizobium. Right? Now let's discuss about the next question, that is question number 6. So this is a question number 6. Question number 6 states, during sewage treatment the biogas is produced. That include, because the biogas is produced, so first of all we are doing a treatment of the sewage. There are various ways of the treatment: primary treatment, secondary treatment and the tertiary treatment. In that case, the biogas is produced, and majorly the biogas is composed of one particular gas which is called as a methane, and this is inflammable gas that can be used for various purposes. Basically, the whole composition of the biogas is the methane, carbon dioxide gas, as well as the third one, hydrogen sulfide gas. These are the three main composition of the biogas. Now let's look at the option. First option states that hydrogen sulfide. Yes, hydrogen sulfide is the right answer. Next is a nitrogen and methane. Nitrogen is not produced. Nitrogen is not a part of the biogas. Methane, oxygen, hydrogen sulfide, no. Because the biogas is produced in the anaerobic condition, the oxygen cannot produce at that particular time. Next is methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. This is the right answer. Let's look at the D option, which states hydrogen sulfide, methane and the sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is not the right one. So the correct option is the methane, hydrogen sulfide and the carbon dioxide. This is the question number 6, correct option C. Let's look at the question number 7. Biochemical oxygen demand may not be a good index for population in water bodies receiving effluent from. They are saying biochemical oxygen demand. Whenever we release any kind of waste in a water, such as a sewage waste, such as domestic waste, sugar industries, etc., the organic component increases. Because organic component increases, now what will happen? There are growth of the more and more bacteria can occur, so that this dissolved oxygen content will decrease and BOD will increase, right? This is the case. Whereas in the C option it is written petroleum industries. Whenever the petroleum industries, the effluents or the waste that comes out from the petroleum industries, they do not cause any organic compound increase in the soil, in the pond water. Because of that, the whole BOD, this whole biochemical oxygen demand decreases, because the organism which remain in the water, they die. So the correct option of the question number 7 is obviously petroleum industry. That means in the sewage, domestic sewage, in the dairy farms and in the sugar industries, in all of these, the organic content of water increases. Organic content of the water increases. So the correct option is a petroleum industry. For the 7, the C option is the correct one. Let's look at the next question, question number 8. Which of the following are involved in and used for cheese manufacturing? In the cheese, what happens is that the coagulation of casein protein occur. Cheese, coagulation of casein. Because coagulation of casein protein occur, and this reaction has to be carried out in the presence of certain microorganism. Whenever a cheese is produced, they use bacteria or bacteria and fungi for their production. Correct option is option number A. In the second, algae is written, Mycoplasma cyanobacteria is written. Let's talk about the bacteria which is involved in the production of cheese. So they uses bacteria as well as fungi. The bacteria which they use for the production is Propioniobacterium, Shermani. This is the bacteria which help in manufacturing of the cheese. Similarly, the fungi also, the fungi which is helpful in the formation of a cheese is You all are acquainted with this fungi which is called as Penicillium notatum. Penicillium notatum. Now what these bacteria do? They help in coagulation of the milk protein casein. So the correct option for the question number 8 is bacteria and the fungi which is helpful for the cheese production. Rest all the option like algae, mycoplasma, cyanobacteria, they are wrong. So let's look at the next question, question number 9. In this question, I will be discussing about the two columns. Two columns I have. In the column 1, the statin, cyclosporin A, streptokinase and lipase is written. In the column 2, certain 1 or 2 lines are given. Let's match these lines in the column 2 with the column 1. First, it is written, remove the clots in the blood vessel. When I was discussing this chapter, I told you about one of the enzyme which is responsive. When I was talking about the enzyme production by the microbes, I gave you at that time one example which help in removal of the clot in the blood vessels. Basically, atherosclerosis is caused whenever these blood vessels get accumulate within the blood, blood clots accumulate within the blood vessels. That may cause myocardial infarction. For that, for the treatment of that, the streptokinase is given. So, for the column number 2, the C option is there. That means in the C, this particular option is given. Now the answer is clear because we don't have any other alternative. Let's talk about the second one, competitive inhibitor of cholesterol synthesizing enzyme. Competitive inhibitor, that means what we have to do, the cholesterol has not to be synthesized. And there should be, you can say, competitive means in an enzyme the active site is there and that active site, the substrate has to attack on those active site. They have to come on that active site, then it will be converted into the product. In that cases, the statin act as a competitive inhibitor. They bind with those active site, they block the enzymatic activity, that enzyme will not be able to convert into the product, they will not be able to convert the substrate into the product, substrate will remain like this only. So, this is called as a statin. So, for the option in the column A, the 2 is correct one. Let's talk about the 3 over here, immunosuppressant. As the name indicates, immunosuppressant, that means they are suppressing our immune system. At some point time, what happens? Our allergic reactions occur. When we take something, sometime when any bug bites ourself, then what happens? Our body start reacting to that. When our body will start reacting to that, more and more WBC formation occur, more and more antibodies formation will occur and they will come on those particular points and they will try to kill that. And we have a very good example of asthma, hay fever, etc. In that cases, what happens is that these immunosuppressants are given to those patients, the body start reacting to any of the dust particle, so that the nearby area they will become swollen. Similarly, let's talk about in case of the asthma. What happens is that we are unable to breathe because more and more these WBCs they are produced, the whole surface area for the respiration is reduced. As the surface area is reduced, there will be less exchange of the gases, that means less oxygen will reach to the different tissue, we will feel tired and we will feel breathlessness. So, this at that particular time immunosuppressant are given so that the less and less antibodies they are produced by the body. And in most of the cases, the cyclosporin A is given as immunosuppressant. That means for the B, the correct option is a 3. Let's talk about the D, which indicates a lipase. Lipase, that means they can act on the lipid. They break the lipid. They break the fat. This is used in the soup industry to remove oil stain. Whenever the oil stains are there, for the formation of various detergent in the soap, these lipases are used. So whenever in cloths, if we find that any kind of oil stains are there, those detergent which has a lipase, they can easily remove those stains. So the correct option for the D is the fourth one. Ultimately, what the answer I will get is the option number A. This is the right answer, and even we were clear for the same particular answer from when we were discussing about the first one. So, let's talk about the last question, relationship between the dissolved oxygen and biological oxygen demand. DO and BOD. Dissolved oxygen, that means oxygen which is present in the water is called as a dissolved oxygen, and this dissolved oxygen is important for the survival of various aquatic animals. And whenever this dissolved oxygen content is less, aquatic animals, they will not be able to survive. When these aquatic animals, they will not be able to survive, what will happen? The whole ecosystem will disturb. Another, it is given the BOD, which indicates biological oxygen demand. That means this is the demand of those fishes, those aquatic animals which is living in the water. They want that certain amount of oxygen should be present in the water, so that they can easily get that oxygen. This is called as their biological oxygen demand. More the number of the fishes in a pond, more will be the DO. More will be the BOD. More BOD is there, more demand is there, that means the dissolved oxygen will be less, because they will consume more and more of these dissolved oxygen. So when we see the exact relationship between these two, we will find that they are inversely proportional. Dissolved oxygen is more, that means biological oxygen demand is less. Less number of fishes are there, they are less dependent, means they want oxygen, but they want oxygen in a very small amount. That means still water has a dissolved oxygen. So we can say that they both are inversely proportional to each other. Relationship between the DO and the BOD is that they are inversely proportional to each other. Students, we have completed the 10 questions out of these microbes in human welfare chapter. These are just 10 questions, though your whole question which is there in the NEET, this is all theoretical basis. These 10 questions is not enough for your whole preparation of NEET as this chapter is considered. You have to explore for the more and more such questions to practice. I have included those, I have tried to incorporate all those topics which are important for your NEET. But you have to explore for the other options as well, because this is not a mathematics, this is not a chemistry where you have some specific concept and you have to apply the concept on this, on that and on that. Biology is very diverse, no boundaries are there. So the material which we have provided you, or you can say with the help of a lecture, the different lecture which we have provided you, must watch that lecture, because those lectures are enough. I am again and again saying those lectures are enough. Revise that again and again. And for this chapter, for microbes in human welfare, do one thing, make a separate chart of these enzymes, of these microbes, why they are important. Because definitely every year they used to ask 2 to 3 questions from this chapter only. So overall weightage of this chapter as per your NEET is considered is very high. So revise this chapter again and again to perform better. So thank you so much students for watching this. We'll meet you next session.